Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to Sunday Morning Movement. I'm your host, Imran. This is BP Harmony, a place, a community, a resource for recovery from the acute phases of bipolar disorder, whether it be depression, mania, or everything in between. I hope to build a place for someone who is vacillating between extreme moods of euphoria, anger, happiness, depression, paranoia, dealing with physical symptoms like migraines, constipation, difficulty sleeping, insomnia, all sorts of hormonal issues. It's a lot. However, it's not forever. It's temporary and recovery is possible. I was told that I would need to be on medication for the rest of my life. I was told that I would have to merely manage my symptoms for the rest of my life. And I'm here to tell you that that does not have to be the case. Even if you have professionals telling you one thing, there will be a set of mental health, medical, all sorts of professionals who are trained in a holistic manner to not just deal with your symptoms, but to heal you from the inside. Often I've talked about this healing process being done with, the physical aspect of our body. I've focused often on sleep hygiene. I've focused often on nutrition, especially the kind of nutrition that focuses on healing the gut, because a lot of gut health impacts mental health. I speak a lot about movement, physical exercise. However, today, one aspect of the healing process that I want to work on, that I mention in my book, is the mindfulness aspect, and specifically talking about trauma. Now, trauma is a popular word today in the wellness space, and a lot of people, we are fortunate in the West especially to have awareness of the phenomenon of trauma and various approaches to dealing with traumatic memories that that really kidnap our body, our physiological state, and take us back to that place of fear, of helplessness, and loss of control. And why is trauma something that's important to talk about for someone with bipolar disorder? First off, when one is not diagnosed properly and they exhibit extreme behaviors, especially in the manic episodes, that can be in and of itself a traumatizing experience, not just for you as the person experiencing it, but for the people around you. Trauma, from what I understand, and this is how I define it, is a memory and experience that becomes imprinted in the mind. And when one relives that, like visits that memory of trauma, the body goes into that state of being, of fear, of anxiety, as if it's happening all over again. So, and a memory that is traumatizing, that may have happened last week, last month, last year, 5 years ago, if it hasn't been worked on, it can continue to play on a daily basis, and the memory and the physiological response is as if it's happening every single day. It's as if it's not something distant in the past. It is alive in someone's memory. It is alive. And I know for myself that sometimes it's difficult to work with, and I might bury it underneath. I might not want to pay attention to it because it's so painful, and I just don't know what to do with it. So in that process, I've learned to seek out help, and of course to turn to mindfulness. And so my advice to you is that if you feel like there are traumatic memories, either from the early stages of your diagnosis or even from childhood memories that trigger you in a way that, 1 minute you're fine, and then when revisiting a memory and it becomes like it's happening to you right now, then that traumatic response for a normal person is going to be agitating and disturbing, but then for someone with BP, it's going to be even more extreme. And so my advice is it's okay to seek help, especially in the form of a therapist, in the form of self-help therapy books, in the form of mindfulness. Today, what we're going to focus on is how to approach the issue of our own trauma with the tool of mindfulness. And so what we're going to do is today we're simply going to breathe. Today we're simply going to bring our awareness to the present moment, to the past. And everyone who has trauma knows that what their trauma is, and it'll surface almost immediately when observing the body. So let's go ahead and begin. I apologize for my voice, and I was around a cat for many hours yesterday, and I'm allergic to cats. Some cats. So I've got some mucus in my throat, and my breathing is a little bit tight. So perhaps the breathing exercise will help me with my breath. Let's go ahead and come to a comfortable seating position, whatever is comfortable for you. You can sit in easy pose or cross-legged. You can sit on top of your legs with your feet facing backward, your knees in front of you. You can lie down on your back, whatever you feel called to do. Let's close our eyes. Take a deep inhale and exhale with the nostrils. Take a deep inhale and exhale. My invitation is to inhale with the nostrils and exhale with the nostrils. And when you inhale for 5 seconds and exhale for 5 seconds. Just by breathing slowly and taking our awareness to the breath does so much to calm ourselves. But don't worry, we're going to go deeper. Take your awareness to your nostril and observe the sensation of the air going in and out. Is it warm? Is it cool? Is it dry? Is it moist? Imagine that your mind is a house and you are preparing to invite guests, but you're still in the process of cleaning up your house. And for this reason, your doors are locked. There's a sign on the door that says, "Thank you for coming, guests. Please give me some time to get ready." These guests are those thoughts, those thoughts that are demanding attention in our breathing. Let them know that they will be tended to, but that you're in the process of cleaning up your mind or this house that you're going to invite them into. Give these thoughts, these guests, the assurance that you will open the door and that they will get to spend ample time with you. So return to the breath, inhale and exhale. Let's repeat a few mantras, a few seed syllables, a few repetitive, mundane expressions that help us tether our mind to the present moment. Not worried about what's to come today, tomorrow, or the future, because that's all imagination. And not worried or feeling regret about the past, because that's over. And I invite you to repeat after me. As you inhale, say, "I know that I'm breathing in." And when you exhale, "I know that I'm breathing out." I know that I'm breathing in. I know that I'm breathing out. Still notice the sensation in the nostril. I know that I am breathing in. I know that I'm breathing out. When you inhale, inflate the belly, and when you exhale, deflate the belly. I know those thoughts are banging on the door. Maybe go out to the porch, leave some refreshments, some sweets, and come back into your house because you've got more preparation to do. Return to the breath. Now, when breathing in, I invite you to state, I'm breathing in a long breath. And when exhaling, I'm breathing out a long breath. And make these breaths longer, the longest breaths so far. I know that I'm breathing in a long breath. I know that I'm breathing out a long breath. Now I invite you to state that I know that when breathing in, we state to ourselves, I know I'm breathing in a short breath. And when exhaling, I know that I'm breathing out a short breath. And now you can shorten the breath to 3 seconds. Or 2. Still inflating and deflating the belly. Maybe not all the way this time. Notice the points of contact between your shirt and your belly. Observe the sensation of the cloth touching your skin. And if you're not wearing a shirt, that's okay. Observe the connection with your body and the ground. And feel a sense of connection. Feel a sense of stability, of rootedness. Take a deep inhale and exhale. We're going to switch our awareness from the breath to the body. When inhaling, we say to ourselves, I am aware of my whole body. And when exhaling, we say to ourselves, I am aware of my whole body. Inhale, I am aware of my whole body. Exhale, I am aware of my whole body. Simply observe the body. What's calling to your attention? What's tight? What's achy? What's uncomfortable? But also, what feels good, and simply observe without judgment. This body of yours is the house, preparing to receive those guests. And so now that you've become aware of the body, we're going to take some time to calm the body. Already the breath work that you've been doing, the intentional inhale and exhale, has done a lot to calm the body. If you're sitting cross-legged, go ahead and switch your legs to even the hips. And we'll continue to close our eyes, straighten our spine, broaden our chest, open up the chest and broaden our shoulders. Place our palms on our knees, or if we're laying down, to our sides, and face the palms upward. Release the tension in our neck, and imagine our head is a buoy on water, floating weightlessly. This gets us to engage our core muscles. Let's take our awareness to the crown of our head. Now when we inhale, I invite you to say to yourself, when you inhale, I calm my body. And when I'm exhaling, I calm my body. Tell that to that part of your body where your awareness lies as we perform a scan from top to bottom. Take your awareness down to your forehead. Inhale, I calm my body. Exhale, I calm my body. Come down to the eyes, the eyebrows. Relax the eyebrows. I calm my eyebrows. Come down to the cheekbone and the jaw. I calm my jaw. I calm my cheekbones. Down to the throat, the back of the neck. Swallow. Inhale. I calm my neck. I calm my throat. Exhale. I calm my throat. I calm my neck. Now continue this process all the way down to your toes. You can either stay with the mantra, I calm my body, or you can mention the individual body part that you are visiting, withholding judgment, simply observing, and inviting, never forcing, the body to calm down. We're going to give this about 2 more minutes. Take your time. If you need more time, you can always pause the video. If you make it down to your toes, you can come back up from the toes to the crown of the head. If you wanted to take notes, simply observe, oh, this body part was tight. This body part had a feeling. This body part made me clench. I became tight. My breathing became tight. And simply say, I calm my body or that body part without making judgment. I hope that this practice has helped you come to a state of calmness, of tranquility, and returning to the image of the house, that it feels like the house is in order, that things are ready, and that you are ready to open the door of memories that need attention, that need healing, to come in. You've put in the work, you've cleaned yourself, you've cleaned your house, you've prepared lovely snacks, and you're excited, or maybe even a bit nervous what's going to happen. That's okay. Go ahead and whenever you feel ready to do so, or if you don't feel ready to do so at all, you can return to the breath for the remainder of the practice. But I invite you to now open the door of the mind and let those guests, those memories, and even traumatic memories come in. And observe where in the body, where in the house they settle down, they decide to go. You may notice a change in the breath. Continue to breathe long inhales, long exhales. Now let's return to the breath. The party is in full swing. The guests are in the house. You take your awareness to the breath, and I invite you to now say, I am aware of my mental objects. I am aware of my mental objects. These memories, these traumas, we are aware of them. Maintaining the breath. Deep inhale. I am aware of my mental objects. Exhale. I am aware of my mental objects. These mental objects chatting away in your house, I hurt you, you hurt me. That wasn't right, that wasn't fair. That was a crime against me. I did you wrong. I should have, could have, would have done this that way or another way. And return to the breath. Deep inhale, I am aware of my mental objects. And when you exhale, I am aware of my mental objects. You might feel a lump in your throat, some tightness in the chest, tightness of the jaw, tightness of the shoulder, a weird feeling in the pit of your belly. Return to the breath. I am aware of my mental objects. I'm aware of my mental objects. And all that work that we've done in calming the body, you might notice now that the pillow cushions are on the ground. The curtains are not properly adjusted. A drink may have spilled. A napkin, the trash may be flowing. You simply observe. And this is what happens when not paying attention to those traumas playing in our mind and we're trying to go on with our life. They're wreaking havoc in our house. And then they cause us to lose our temper, to go into states where it's as if it's a state of chaos. And then for the person with BP, it sends us into compromised states of consciousness. If that happens, if you feel that these mental objects are taking control, return to the breath and tell them, shh, I have an announcement to make. I calm my mental objects. I calm my mental objects. Inhale, I calm my mental objects. Exhale, I calm my mental objects. Now that everyone in the guest house has gotten your attention, if you feel the courage to do so, if you feel ready, you can invite one of them to speak. Invite one of them to play as the memory happened. And if it's too overwhelming and you feel I'm not ready, that's okay. It takes time. It takes time. But if you are ready, if you feel that there is some memory that causes agitation, pain, suffering, to give it the due attention that it seeks. And here's the part that I've learned through cognitive behavioral therapy is to shift our mind about the past, to change our judgment on the past, and to look at it from a fresh perspective. That this traumatic incident is not maybe a failure. It is not a It is not a um, mistake that I made, but it's a lesson learned. That's one possible. But if there was a crime that was done against you, maybe when you were young, maybe when you were helpless, the thing that's awful about these memories is a sense of helplessness and a self of that's so wrong. If the memory plays itself, play it. If it must play itself, play it as if as it happened, but not going into imaginations of all sorts of different scenarios that never happened, because that can happen too. All sorts of fantasies about they would have done this or they probably would have done that, and then to play it out as if it happened, your body doesn't know the difference. It's going to respond as if it is actually happening. And so if the memory must play and you feel that it won't trigger you in such a bad way, but if sometimes traumatic memories, whether you like it or not, they play, to go ahead and let it play, but as quickly as possible, return to the present moment and say to yourself, or I invite you to say to yourself, that is over. I survived, and it passed. It doesn't need to play in my mind anymore as if it's happening over and over again, because it's past. It was temporary. Like all things in this life, it passed. And maybe I'm better from it, maybe I'm worse because of it. We'll get to that later. But it's past. It's over. It's gone. And so when we inhale, returning to the image of the guest house, and that memory has had the opportunity to play, you say to that memory, thank you for coming. I let go. I let go of this mental object. And that mental object may want to stay around, or it may immediately leave. Maybe it was waiting for release. Maybe it simply wanted that attention. And you might notice that that part of the body part that it's inhabiting to become more capacious, for space to open up, to feel light, to feel expansion. Now for the remaining 7 minutes of our practice, go ahead and whatever you feel, whoever in this guest house seeks your attention, if you can, let the memory play. Play it as if it really happened, or however it happened, accurately, and say thank you. This memory has passed. These are lessons learned, and it is over, and I let go of this mental object. Letting go sometimes is painful. Letting go feels like a failure. But I have learned often that there are no failures in life, only lessons learned. This work takes time, and if you feel that you can't do it alone, I return to the advice of working with a trained medical professional. But you might find yourself able to sit aware of the breath, healing yourself by letting go, by accepting the past for what it is, a blip in time that happened and has passed, has gone. And that maybe, just maybe, we've been carrying the past into every present moment, burdening ourselves, making the past the present, not letting go. That's okay. It's hard to do it. But you might have noticed that once you give it that attention and you say, I've let go, that memory, that trauma will leave the house. With time, you'll notice that there's more and more space in between these memories because they're leaving now. And they may come back, but we've been able to face that memory, confront the memory, while maintaining a sense of stability, maintaining a sense of calm. These emotions have to be processed, they have to be healed, but bringing ourselves to a state of physiological calm facilitates the process of dealing with these painful memories. I've gotten to a place where, I can sit for hours. I can sit for maybe half an hour or an hour or 2 hours. Sometimes the mind wanders. That's okay. Reel it back to the breath. And if you feel the welling of tears, the choking in the throat, that's okay. Allow tears to shed. Allow tears to flow. A myth, a story, a legend that I used to hear when I was a kid was that one tear shed out of awe, out of just emotional release, it can extinguish all of hellfire. I think that's so profound in light of trauma, that when we release these tears, those tears that are shed, extinguish the pain, extinguish that fire that is wounding us, that is scarring us. If we feel the welling up of tears, that's okay. But if you feel that the memory, especially for those with BP, is overwhelming, that it is causing instability, to return to the breath and to swiftly tell all guests, thank you for coming, but I must rest. You must leave now. And not to feel, if you are feeling overwhelmed, it doesn't need to be done in a day. You can do this exercise, this practice all over again. You have this video now as a guided meditation. So observe the breath. Observe the mental objects leaving your mind, leaving the house. And if any guest is being sticky and not wanting to leave, you say, I will come soon. I will invite you soon. But I must give my body, my mind, some rest. And so they all leave. And maybe, just maybe, one of them or two of them refuse to leave. That's okay. You can take some rest with those uninvited guests still in your house, but maybe to go into your private quarters. Return to the breath. Inhale. I relax myself. Inhale. I observe cessation. Exhale. I observe cessation. Meaning, I observe quietude, stillness, the stoppingness of all things. One way to do that is to bring our awareness to our ears. Notice the sounds around us. Deeply inhale and exhale. Listen for the beat of our heart. Inhale and exhale. Listen to the closest sound outside of your body. Listen to the farthest sound outside of your body. Past the immediate sounds, there may be something in the past. Listen for it. It's there. Maybe outside of your room, maybe outside of your home. Listen only with your right ear. Now listen only with your left ear. And you'll notice all the sounds that are immediate and far from the left side. I can hear an airplane. There's a baby in my house crying. I suppose that when we aren't worried about the past worried about the future and repeating the past and regrets, and we're in the present, we feel maybe, just maybe, a glimmer of hope, a sense of joy, a sense of release, a sense of liberation, a sense of freedom from the shackles of the past and the fears of the future. This is the power in returning to the breath, bringing our awareness to the sensations of the body and tethering ourselves to the present. Go ahead and open your eyes. If you're lying down, come up to a seated position. Thank you so much for joining me. I've written a book called The 5 Pillars of Bipolar Recovery. You can find it on my website, ppharmony.com, where I lead meditations like this. And I've worked with mental health professionals to develop meditations like this. I've worked with yogis. The meditation today is inspired by the late Zen Buddhist master Thich Nhat Hanh, and it's from the book Breathe, You Are Alive. So if you're curious to know where I got this meditative practice from, it's from a grand master who's steeped into the Buddhist meditative practice, who was, he's passed on, but he's well versed in the multi-generational tradition of mindfulness, breathing, Zen Buddhism. So thank you so much, yogis, yoginis, practitioners, healers, people on the healing journey. This too shall pass. I hope you are leaving this practice with a tool to work on trauma, to work with traumatic memories. In addition to meditative practice, in my book, I talk about CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, as a way of shifting our perceptions, our judgments. And there's self-guided books, and then there are also therapists who are trained in CBT. I found this to be a useful tool for people struggling with bipolar disorder because of the negative thought patterns that spiral out of control and then impact us physiologically, our behaviors. And so if there is a tool that you are looking to use, that you're looking to get professional help on, search CBT, and either you can do it through self-guided CBT books, or you can hire a mental health professional who is licensed to perform cognitive behavioral therapy. I'm not. It's something I'm working on. I'm a trained yoga instructor, and I've got a lot of experiential knowledge healing myself from the acute phases of bipolar. And now I live without the diagnosis. I recently went to the doctor and they say, well, you don't have this diagnosis anymore. So that's the thing that's fascinating about this diagnosis, is that it's not a permanent one. It's not something that you have to have for the rest of your life. So healing is possible. Recovery is possible. This will end. This will pass at some point in your life. And to hold on, it's tough, but to hold on to the promise of those who say that it can get better. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week.